What's the other one? They fucking split these, right? So, like, they used to be Phillips. Oh, yeah, MO is Philip Morris. There's got to be another one. What's the other one out of this group? Oh, yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Good morning, America. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going through a couple things here. There we go. What the fuck? MGH. Hey Ryan, what's going on? How you doing? Hold on, I'm trying to open something here. And personal. Dun, 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 dun. It's very strange. How do you see the components of something? I totally forgot. Anybody remember? Yeah, usually you could open the components of a particular... Oh, there it is. Oh, shreds. Let's see. That's why. Dun, dun, dun. What the fuck? That didn't work either. Very strange. I think you can only do them by certain sectors. We'll have to manually do them. Hey, Rodney, what's going on? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, let's take a look here. Market's gapping down a little bit here. Not much, 0.3%. Yeah, what are you going to do? The market's been bleeding off. Momentum stock's been bleeding off. Hey, Stacy, you know, the money's been on the short side of recent. You know, if you're kind of getting chopped up, I would say that the better RRs have been on the short side than the long side. The last few days. Now the market has been a little bit tricky because like anytime you get like a nice trend day to the downside, the next day you kind of been ripping back. But overall, thank you, Blizzy. I don't know where my brain went. I just couldn't find it. Overall, I think, you know, we're still in a good spot in the indexes. We're bleeding out on momentum and kind of grinding up on other stuff. Let's take a look at the earnings. It is earnings season. We've seen some good PR plays out already the last couple days. Let's take a look and see what's going on. KSU's a merger. FSR is popping after this big bleed. One of the reasons it's bleeding is that, you know, its warrants were expiring and, you know, so on and so forth, which all the SPACs have been doing. You know, these are all pretty much dusted deals. So their warrants did expire, and, you know, now they're getting hit with a very shaky upgrade from, you know, somebody here. B off A, I don't know what that is. BOFA. BOFA Securities is upgrading this thing $31. We may get a little action on it. I'm not actually... These things have been just such bleeders. Yeah, Patrick, but doesn't that sound cooler the way I did it? Don't take the fun out of my day. Don't take the fun out of my day. I think we got probably a couple days of upside. If the gap holds. Now, this stock is the ultimate turd. All EV companies are pretty much the ultimate turd, you know, at this point. Not because the actual companies are what they're building. You know, the deals inside their SPACs were just bloated, and so none of them are really following through. Let's add FSR for now. We'll see what's going on here. Crispy, amend collaboration deal, sickle cell anemia, blah, blah, blah. You know what? This one trades a little bit thin on volume. I'd probably leave that alone. ACTC. This is a Chamath back. You know, those aren't going to hold up. He pumped those things to us Indians, and we'll never forgive him. Dun 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 dun. MVIS, nasty. TTCF, nasty. RLX. What's RLX? RLX Technology. Man, this thing's been such a dud since its IPO pass. TLRY. Look, I enjoy every day when some asshole in my chat room says, like, hey, pot stocks are moving, but they never move. I enjoy it every day when somebody's like, there's always like right around like 9:45, guys, pot stocks are moving. And then they never do anything. These things are turds. They are a lot cheaper than they were, though. At some point, you know, maybe they get picked up. But this is how kind of pot stocks work. They just go through, they're more like, it's just cycles, right? You know, you need like these big bases and then they go, right? And then they dump because they are turds. And you just need those bases and dumps and then they're fine, right? So it's more of a matter of timing. Like, see, like you get like big base and then you trend, like this thing was $60. Now, like you've been coming down, so you just need like a big base again and go. And that's the cycle of, you know, all stocks, right? It's for accumulation, distribution, run up, run down. So, you know, that's just where you gotta keep that in mind here. But I do like the, you know, kind of daily, hey guys, pot stocks are going. There's some news out of New York. Hey guys, there's some news out of New York. Let's see here. IBM, beats on sales earnings. You know what? Frankly, these grandpa stocks have been, they've been moving better than, you know, the kind of momentum or more speculative names. So you got a 2% gap on IBM on earnings beat. Frankly, if you're looking for like a little bit slower play, that can work. You have a chart breakout here, and I mean, frankly, that type of stock has been working a lot better, right? Like your railroads, your banks, your IBMs, you know, so on and so forth. You know, those are the companies that have actually been just working a lot better. It doesn't look like, it looks like we're getting another slow earnings season. Let's look on the downside. SNDX, Future, these little dusty bastards. This is like your classic, you should learn this. This is your classic Wall Street pump. So these fuckers want to do an offering, so they push this thing probably with some algos 20-something points into the close. Boy, I fucked up. I went to take a nap, like right when this thing started to ramp, huh? They pushed this thing up 20% into the close, and then, whoop, offering. Offering. That just ain't right. The Chinese. It's the Chinese. They are slippery little bastards, aren't they? You can't trust these kind of stocks. It's very... Man, that was a hot move. You know, the thing was that there's been no good breakouts in the market for so long out of speculative names that, like, you see something like this, it's like you get really excited. And then now it faded off. It is moving down on the offering news, Jacob. So now you're kind of back to yesterday's bounce spot. That's how they make it seem like you got a good deal. I don't know what the real float is on this. The offering only looked like 10 million shares. TC1000 says it's a billion share float, but I don't believe that because it's a $160 company, and we know this is not a $160 billion company. TC2000's float is always wrong on ADRs or, you know, foreign stocks. I don't know what the play is on this. We'll probably just leave it alone. I mean, what are you going to do, right? They dusted this thing. Okay, so 48 million on FUVUs, whatever. To 10 million out of 50 million, 20%. It's down 8%. Yeah, I mean, I think probably that one's going to be a little bit tricky. Maybe that's probably a leave alone for us at this point. Spaceballs. Spaceballs has been bleeding out here. This is a Kathy Johnson stock. And damn, I didn't even see any news in this one. It looks foo-voos. Great site, huh? Dun, 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 dun. You know, I think you could probably keep short in this. It reminds me of DDD, where it's just like, this is like another one that's like, when the market is hot and you have enough like kind of Joe Schmo retail people that will be suckered in for like, hey, why not have like a $15 billion company that specializes in $500,000 flights to the moon? Like, that sounds like a great idea, right? And, you know, when the market is hot, you can get enough kind of retail people in to buy that stuff. It works. And then at some point, like, it's still a $6 billion company, but at some point somebody's like, oh man, like, I'm never going to have $500,000 to take a space flight to the moon. And then now these things start to come back down. I'd actually keep this on the watch list still for more shorts. You know, it looks like it's a bleeder at this point. Yeah, let's get that thing going. You know, let's show this thing what American justice looks like. I think we keep bleeding out on those. CNI. Let's see here. You know what? This one's kind of gapping down. It looks like it's an offering, or not offering, but a buyout. Probably leave that alone. Philip Morris. Philip Morris. So this is actually going to be, this will be tricky. And I'll tell you what. It's a thick little bastard. You know, 2 billion share float. Market chatter. We don't have necessarily any news yet. We have some chatter. Chatter's like, chatter works. Chatter works. You want rather chatter than news. So I think we actually add this to the watch list. I don't know. I don't know how this thing trades. It's been quite a few years, frankly, since I've even taken a look at this. But I think we add some of these tobacco stocks to the watch list. And, you know, we come in on the shred. This is probably, you know, this has got probably a lot of risk in it. Like if you're a long-term holder of this, you know, with that kind of overhang on it. So add MO to the list. CLNE turd. UAL turd. Okay, BTI. British American Tobacco. So you see you have a couple of these other ones that are going to be nice. We found like another one. Anybody got a name of another one? I know somebody posted it and then I didn't see it. Oh yeah, here it is. BTI MO PM. That's the one. Philip Morris. This one's only down 1%. I add these to the list. TPB. Turning Point Brands. Now this one, I don't know what kind of liquidity's in it, but this has got the best chart breakdown out of the group. I add this with the caveat that we need to see probably 500,000 shares in volume at the open before we take a trade in it. Otherwise, you know, we'll be kind of selling over each other. Universal. Okay, this is a good list. VGR. Thank you, by the way, whoever posted that. Blizzard, I think. I think Mr. Blizzy. We should give you a promotion. Blizzy. Mr. Blizzy. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. We'll get you a promotion. Get you a promotion. This is also a nice breakdown. So add all of these little tobacco stocks to the watch list. It looks like, you know, you're also getting gap downs in Riot and Mara. I think, you know, we're getting closer to a bounce spot in these things, not for more than a couple days. But I do think we're getting closer to a bounce spot on this. You got 10 stochastics on this. You're down about 4 days in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got enough support on this. If we get a kind of ripstick to the downside at the open on this, like see this thing's down 3%. Let's keep an eye around that 30 zone. You know, it'll probably be a little bit before 30, but you know, once we get into the 32, 31s, we're going to have a chance to probably flip this thing back to the long side and we'll get this thing going. Coinbase options. Let me check that out, AM. I like the overall attempt at bouncing this. Now these things are turds. These are probably bigger turds than even the Kathy Johnson stocks. Like these things are all really like this thing was a buck like right in November. These things are actually, at least some of the Kathy Johnson stocks are like actual companies. Like this thing does nothing. They do Bitcoin mining. I mean, there's not even any Bitcoins left to mine these days. Like how many Bitcoins can be mined every day? Like 10? Yeah, most of them have been mined. Right, I think we try to do a bounce, but these are not long-term plays anymore. The overall structure of these things have rolled over, and the overall structure of these things has rolled over. They used to be $1. Bitcoin has 21 million supply. Then they do halvings, right, Jason? So they do halvings. So they actually cut the supply. And then they've been mining these things. So like 5, 6, 7 years ago, you could mine the Bitcoins on your iPhones and like you let it like kind of hum on your iPhone. You'd collect the Bitcoin like every week. Now they make them harder and harder, every year, and there's less and less supply. I'm guessing they probably, between all these people, probably mine 20, 30 a day between everybody in the world. So it's like a lot of power for a lot of not much. I think we try to bounce these, but the long-term things are the long-term prognosis on these is over. Now, a lot of people have been asked about Coinbase. I think there's a level that's built on Coinbase here in the, I would say 345 to 350 range. If it can clear over that, I think we can take a gander. Somebody did mention, AM did. Coinbase options start trading today, so maybe we get some of the options guys start to pile in and we get a little pop. But I think that this is a no interest till you get closer to the 340s, and then it becomes an interest, because the way this thing will probably move is it'll fake you out quite a few times, and then the day it goes, it's going to rip like 30, 40 points. And then we're going to be sitting there going, oh my God, I can't believe I missed it. And that's how it goes. When you trade something like this, you got to be okay taking like, $1, $2 loss a couple times before you nail it. Because it trades thin, and it's frankly a big bloated turd. I mean, the market cap on this is, monstrous. Who knows, right? So keep an eye. I think 340s is the spot. Vuzi, we're almost at a test at the 50 SMA. I've been watching this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down days in a row. Sitting on the 50 SMA. This is it. If it doesn't bounce here today, then, this is no swing trading environment for the most part, Bosch. Yeah, I don't. To me, this is no swing trading environment. Unless you're trading, Citigroup or something. So I'd add Vuzi to the list. We got NVAX. Yesterday was an inside day. I think today could be a spot. UPSD potentially, if the market starts to push back. You're sitting on the 50 SMA. It looks pretty good. mRNA I'd keep on the list too. And then I think we add in Penn to our short list. You've got a bleeder sitting out over here the last couple days. This is a longer-term rollover pattern. See how you got the middle finger just hanging up over here? That's a longer-term rollover pattern. Keep in mind, guys, everything looks like a short in the market. That's just how things can be sometimes. We just got to find one good play, 2 good plays, and we will be fine. I would definitely add a Peloton for day 2 also. That was a nice play for us yesterday. We caught a nice little ripper on it. I think this one's another one that bleeds out. Couple things that we need to be mindful of. Every time we've had a trend day to the downside, the next day, sometimes it's been choppy. or like you start to grind higher at the open. We've had that happen a lot of times where you get a trend day to the downside, then the next day's a little bit choppy or flat. So you want to cut your size a little bit at the open just to prepare for that. And then, then we'll see what's going on. The stocks are still bleeding out a little bit, but we're getting closer to the bottom than probably the top. There's some room on some of these things to still keep going down, but in the most part, a lot of the ones like DDDs and some of these solars and stuff like that, I think that those are probably getting closer to the bottom than the top. I'd probably stay away from really anything too speculative, or anything whose range has just been cut to crap. There's been a lot of these stocks where the range has just died off. Good. All right, let's do this, folks. Let's do this. Let's have a little fun. What was it? Philip Morris. Good. Spaceballs. Good. Ba-dum, and then FSR add to the gapper list. I think we need to add pen. I think that's our list. I'm sticking to it. Top plays, MO, space, Peloton to the short side, FSR to the long side, Vuzi for potential red to green, pen for trend trade. And if we get a one big monster cock flush, then we'll try Riot Mara. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Yesterday was hot. Let's try to just eke out a little living today and see what goes on. If we get a trender, we'll get a trender, but we had our Xanadu yesterday. Peace! Let's do this.